Welcome to Hope for Survival YouTube. Thanks for tuning in and coming back. It's good to have you here. Sorry it's been a week since the last video. I've been out on the road for leisure, kind of a post-retirement trip with Miss Lucy up to Cincinnati, Ohio. Spend a few days taking in some professional tennis. It was very enjoyable and interesting an observation as well to see all the foreign travelers that came to Cincinnati for this tournament from all over the world, and it was interesting watching everyone interact together around the complex. The venue had probably 20 plus tennis courts, from practice courts all the way up to the grandstand, which seated several thousand. But there were folks from all over the world and supporting their favorite tennis players. And it was interesting to see the interactions. Some of the folks were wearing masks and so forth. Personal choice, of course. And it was a very relaxed atmosphere. You would have never known through the joy of the individuals there, the cost to eat and buy water and drinks, sodas and alcohol, if that was your choice, were very expensive, and money was flowing. And it's like the outside world was shut out. You would have never known there were so many problems and wars and rumors of wars taking place during our time there. So anyway, it's good to be back and to be here to record another YouTube video for you. I wanted to talk to you about debt and the direction that appears things are moving towards. And David Devine over at Adapt 2030 had a very good video earlier today. Today being Thursday, August the 14th, I believe. 15th, August 15th. So he probably dropped that video around the 14th, maybe this morning the 15th. Anyway, we've had a lot of these discussions in the past in the Hope for Survival training, also in our Thursday evening Zoom calls, as well as articles I've written on the Hope for Survival website at hopeforsurvival.com. And we've talked about when one of the most important first steps to take in preparing is to do your best to become debt-free. Meaning that you are in control of your life and your finances. And I know for many, depending on your age, where you're at in life, that can be difficult. Mortgage payments, car payments, and so forth. But do your best. You know, we talk about first addressing your physical, psychological, and spiritual well-being for you as an individual, and then in your preparedness package to tackle getting out of debt the best you can. So why this is important, number one, is it's just a good common practice to not be indebted to institutions who are part of the machine that is controlling and attempting to further control the direction of the world and our individual lives. So, um, a lot of where things are heading, it appears that the one world currency that they're talking about, a digitalized currency, it may possibly be out of the central bank's control at this point. And it appears that Wall Street and the powers of the elites at Wall Street are gathering a lot of this control. Now, a one world currency is going to be, the dollar, the yen, the euro, and all currencies wrapped in one, possibly. Um, who knows? Who knows what the final outcome will be? Um, but what it's looking like is under the digital system, for those who are carrying debt and trying to remain out of the digital system, out of the digital banking and so forth, you're going to have to be able to maintain your life without outside support. Meaning, you're not going to go to the system for loans. And where this is going to create a problem is for many of the farmers. Because when farmers go to plant crops each year, normally they take out large loans to pay back after their crop's planted and they produce the crop and then sell it off to pay off the loan. If they have large sums of debt, it's going to be very difficult for them to get loans with existing debt, which could mean more difficulty in growing crops, which when it rolls downhill, it will be less food available for the consumers. Okay, this could create an avalanche of problems for man, especially for those who are not prepared and they don't have the ability to buy food that's not available to them. Okay. And this rolls downhill again to why we've talked about for 5+ years, the importance of community, knowing who's in your community, knowing skills, working together, having the ability to grow food, to feed your people in your community. Okay. You do not want to be faced with a situation where your neighbor 2 doors down is a very close friend and they have not prepared, because your good friend is going to show up at your door with the expectation of knowing you have put back food, or you have grown a garden, you have taken steps for a self-reliability practice and policy to protect your family. And that's where the problems could start in your community. Being that if you don't feed this person or people around you and they know that you have taken steps and that you have food put back, these individuals will then go and tell other individuals who don't have food, and then you're going to have a gang of community on your doorstep demanding that you hand over your food, and you're going to be outnumbered. Whereas if you have worked to build a community and your community has prepared, your strength in numbers is going to help offset these conditions. Okay, so I'm only speaking on the grounds of community, but outside your community, in your state, in your areas, more and more issues are going to surface as time goes forward of individuals who cannot get food either while it's available, they're not going to be able to afford it, or um, if in fact it's not available, the trucks are not running to bring the food in. This is not even taking into consideration the natural events that are occurring from all the rain, all the heat, the earthquakes that are occurring, tornadoes, hurricanes, on and on and on. Okay, it's almost as if as each season passes, we cannot predict season on with each season when we might be able to try and grow warm weather and cold weather crops to add to our resources for fresh food supplies. Okay, it's just one more burden added on that um, that we, the people, must take into consideration. We don't want problems to surface that we haven't thought about, we haven't heard about, and then we're faced with them. Okay, part of the whole preparedness process is to be informed and educate yourself as to potential problems, so when they do surface, you can pull that plan out. Okay, well, here it is. This is how we discuss that we're going to approach this problem. Okay, and that's investing time um, in knowing what it is and how we can possibly get around it. Okay, that's even if the changing laws and administrations is going to allow you to grow food. Okay, under equity, where everyone is equal and has the same amount of everything, this could become a problem. You can look at history if you don't believe it's possible, because past history, restrictions on gardening, restrictions on animals, restrictions where the government came in and took a portion of what you grew. And even in recent years down in Venezuela, where all the citizens were required to go work community gardens away from their jobs for X hours per week to grow food for the government. So how it's going to be deployed is yet to be seen, but you can bet on changes that are coming. These are all going to be steps that are applied, because under equity, it's not going to be bringing the standards of the citizens that have less than you. It's going to be driving your lifestyle down to those individuals. Okay, so thinking that it's business as usual and you can just maintain and sustain is going to be very difficult to do. Okay, so I would encourage you to give this some thought. Again, do your best to get out of debt the best that you can in the very near future, and be ready for lifestyle changes if in fact things continue in the direction that they're heading, because it won't be pretty. Matter of fact, it probably is going to be painful for many, because I know many who are into preparedness are, for whatever reason, they spend too much time focused in certain areas. They're not covering other areas, and they're making minimal effort towards community building. And I'm not telling you this because it's something that I just like to talk about. All right, I can tell you through past experience and things that I've witnessed around the world during different levels of societal collapse, whether it's war driven or economics. Communities are needed to come together to survive. Okay, and within those communities, there's often strife and conflict, and you got to have a plan in place to deal with it. So give it some thought. Keep on keeping on. I know many of you are doing awesome things out there. We had the honor of stopping off in Kentucky, driving home from Ohio, and spending some time with our Patriot sister and brother, and having breaking bread and having good conversation and talking about where things are today and things they're working on, and so on and so forth. So it is important that you don't let off the pedal. Okay, but part of that is you've you've got to be able to adapt and adjust, and pretty much have a plan for about anything you can imagine, and that starts with water and food. Okay, you got to have water and food no matter what's going on around you. You got to have shelter to stay out of the elements, and you got to have a way to protect. Excuse me, a way to protect um, what you have and the people around you. Okay, can't do it as a lone ranger. Sorry to bust a bubble. I'm just telling you, you can't do it alone. So, anyway, I'm gonna move on, and if you like this video, please hit like, share. You need to get as many people as you know to listen to you, to get prepared. Okay, the next 90 days are going to be, I believe, very eye-opening as to a choice that our nation will have to take in November, and it's the separation of the choices is maybe more vast than I can ever remember it being. Okay, which path we as a nation are going to go down. Okay, and there is a very large segment of our society who wants to go down the path of socialism and communism. Okay, I don't know that they even know what it is. As long as they have their little device in their hand that they can play games and click on it, the world is all good to them. So anyway, again, if you haven't subscribed, please hit subscribe. Keep your head on a swivel, and take care out there. I'm hoping to hit the road in the next couple weeks to come out to some of your homes, to work on a series for YouTube, and I'll tell you more about that as we approach time going forward. So everyone, please be blessed, and most important is to make sure you give thanks each day. We are a blessed people. Till next time, Bravo Echo out.